Hey gang, Neil Pryor here from FXCORRELATOR.com. Just wanted to introduce you to my free FX correlator indicator and a quick run through onto how to use it and some of the ideas that you can work with it. So where do you get the where do you download the indicator from? Okay, if you go to my website FXCORRELATOR.com, go here, FX correlator, to this particular area. You draw down a bit, you will see a link through here to the FX correlator indicator link. You hit that. You will eventually get to my Trade to Win site. I use Trade to Win as a home forum. I've been there for over 10 years, had over 2 million views there of people downloading my software. And you come to this post, this is 2018 actually, because I was doing some updates this year. Bring it back down the bottom here and you can see that I've got a guide as to how to use it and my free version. Again, I've reloaded this here. What have I got at the moment? 69 views on this, but I mean other parts of the forum where I had other versions of this, and I've just renewed all the links. I think I was running at over 7,000 downloads of this now. So this is where you go to and you hit this free version. Okay, and for those of you then that are not sure what to do from there, you would click on this and you would save it into a certain area in your MT4 platform. If you click on this, it will show you how to do that, and I'm not gonna take too much time on that. It's a fairly basic process, and there are many things online, YouTube, that will show you how to download and move things into your MetaTrader platform. So we're going to switch ahead here, but you literally click in here and off you go. Okay, so let's imagine you've dropped your file into the indicators area. Okay, and any of you again that have been through some learning on this, you will understand what I'm looking at here, the navigator area in your platform, and you will come into this area, and this is where you'll keep all your indicators, guys, that you've dropped onto your MT4 platform. Again, you will know this, look it up, there's plenty of stuff online. As you can see here, I have hundreds and hundreds of versions. I have currency index, I have a lot of stuff, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and find where I would have dropped this free version. I think it's that one, see here, basic free version. I think that's the one you're all drawing on, guys. There's millions. I mean, this goes, just want to show this is just one of my, these are all versions of strength meters that I've built over the last, I don't know, 10 years. But anyway, let's get back to this, and what we do is you drag it across to a pair. So I've dragged it across to a cable 5 chart here, and it will flash up to you actually the settings, and we will go through this pretty quickly, again just to show what you can do. Common inputs, don't touch the inputs. What you can do here for the FX correlator is you can change the moving average, you can change the delta. I'm not going to go into delta on this, but delta is just, think of it like a MACD, if you've ever used MACDs where you can use 2 moving averages. This is actually just a slowing factor. So instead of a 20 moving average on a 1 moving average delta, you could move this up to 2 or 3, and what it will do is basically slow down your 20 moving average. Again, I'm not going to go into this, but the default setting is a 20 moving average on a 1 delta, and again on here you can click on any of these and you can remove any of the 8 currencies there if you don't want to show them all on the chart. I know 8 can be a little busy. And at the bottom here, one other thing, and again this gets explained a little more in my PDF. If, for example, up here you happen to have a broker that has additional coding against each of their currencies, so this could be something like the initials of that particular broker. This broker Tickmill hasn't, so I don't need to put anything in here, but if there were some special codings after the pair code, you would need to put them into this area, type them in, and that allows the FX correlator to recognize this. So the FX correlator is going to work here because there is nothing after USD. There is nothing slotted in there as additional coding. Okay. If it says something like XXX or I don't know anything, you'd have to put the XXX in here. Okay. but this is the default. Colors, you can change the colors. Change the colors of any of these, what do you want, but again there is a default set. These are the colors I have for each of the currencies, and remember the currencies are here. So euro would be 0. The last one here is US dollar, that would be lime green. Levels, there's a 0 in there. The 0 line is very important, we'll talk about that in a minute. Visualization, just showing everything. You can add actually additional lines here to show overbought, oversold areas, but again I'm not going to get into this on this basic stuff, guys. Okay, so I'm going to say OK, and suddenly by magic you have your FX correlator appearing here. Yeah, you see that? So I dragged it across. I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to get on with business. So you now have an FX correlator. If you don't see this, then there's probably something wrong and you need to refer back or ask me. You can contact me online, my web page at Trade to Win at Forex Factory. I go by the call sign of NVP, which is my initials, and I'll happily help you. This is what you should be looking. Nice, healthy default settings here, lots of lines, and again attached to anything. It happens to be cable. And again I'll show you a couple of things now, what I'm into at the moment, today for example, and how you work this. So the principle of a strength meter, which is what the FX correlator is, the principle of any strength meter is it looks at all of the currencies and all the pairs, and it compares the strength and weakness of each pair. Okay, and it comes up with this calculation. So based on the moving average that you've set, in which case this is how strong or weak currencies are around their 20 moving average, this gives you a live and very much live and up-to-date indication of where strengths are based on what you've set. You change the settings, you change the time frame, everything will change because it will look at all 28 pairs and come up with a new comparison. So remember, above the 0 line, these are bull currencies. They are currencies that are displaying bullish or increase in price value. Below the 0 is bear currencies. They are displaying lower negative tendencies, bear tendencies. Okay, so let me give you an example using the cable here, just to show exactly what we're doing here. Okay, I'm going to add a 20 moving average. Okay, very simple. This is a 20 moving average. Okay, and down here what I'm going to do, now that we've identified what these do, I'm going to isolate two currencies. I'm going to isolate the green US dollar and the red sterling. The reason I'm going to isolate them and remove the others is because I want to show you how those currencies are behaving based on what they're truly doing on the cable chart. Yep, the chart that actually is showing those two currencies combined together. So I would go to settings, so I'd right click, go to settings, and what I do is I remove, go to input, and I turn these to false. Okay, I'm going to get all of these guys to false mode, so I'm going to remove, and then it will remember that. So I'm just going to show two currencies here. Yep, okay, hit OK. There you go. We're now just showing sterling and US dollar, because these are what are here up in this chart. Now the first thing you're going to see is that wherever these guys down here cross will pretty much approximate to where this pair crosses the 20. That is how currency meters work. Okay, so that crossovers, when you see two currencies cross over here, that is always going to agree to the crossover on the same moving average on the core chart. Okay, that's how we define strength. You see here on the 20 moving average, sterling, red sterling, is now stronger than US dollar, which means that up here it must be going above the 20. You see that? Crossover, crossover. That's very important. Here, sterling falls below dollar. Crossover. That will always work. That's the way it's going to work. We change these moving averages, we change this moving average to the same. That is how it works. But more importantly than that, remember we talk about the 0 line. The 0 line is representing how strong or how weak these currencies are against all the other currencies as well. That is hugely important in how I teach and trade strength meters, guys. And again, we'll go into that in future sessions, lectures, and e-learning. So again, get your head around this, because this is how it works. So just to continue with a very, very simple system, here's an idea. If we use the 20 moving average to display where we should trade, so we will only trade cable when we will only buy cable when it's above its moving average, and we will only sell it when it's below. And that's a very simple system. We all know that from our early days of trading simple moving average crossovers. If we do that, let's also just add an additional caveat. This is a very simple system that I use day in, day out. Let's also say that down here, instead of just where they cross, which is here, so this is where up here we are saying we will look to buy sterling now, cable. Instead of that, should we also say that we will only trade cable when sterling is above the zero, indicating that it is a bullish currency, and the US dollar is below the zero, indicating that it is a bearish currency? Not just the crossover, but the whole thing. So now we change to here. We say that generally through this period, I know there was a pullback there, but you have to learn to understand that these things do tend to move around a bit, and it comes out there. For example, during this period we were really identifying opportunities to buy this pair. Why? Because sterling is above the zero, dollar is below the zero. Okay, this is an area of buy. Now I'm not going to go into this in this video into how we then trigger the signals. I'm just saying where you would look to buy this particular pairing. You wouldn't do it here because they're both below. You wouldn't do it here because they're both below. You wouldn't do anything unless these guys were on opposite sides of the zero. Can you see another area where this is also happening? Can you see anywhere else? You notice that I've now said here look for buys. I would have been looking for buys during this period until sterling dropped out of the zero there, dropped through the zero. See anywhere else? Just freeze the video for a second, have a look, and I'll add it in a second. Okay, here's the clue. Just changing that. Here's the new clue. Now, clearly at this point, there was a very quick flash sell there that I probably wouldn't have got into, and even a flash buy here that I would have gone into. Again, I follow certain rules, things about overextension. I mean, just looking for nice comfortable plays, and again I'm not going to get into that in this video. But here's one. We have a very, very weak sterling here, yeah, so we can all see that sterling is driving the price of cable down here. That's because sterling is falling dramatically. Where do I get comfortable? I get comfortable here. Why? Because US dollar has now got above the zero, and that to me tells me that US dollar is displaying a lot of bull tendencies now. I like that. I want to get these guys either side. So I would start to hunt for sells of cable here. I wouldn't have really done it in this area. There's quite a bit of chop here, and again we can go into that. So that differentiates me from a lot of people that just look at charts and they ignore this. You can see I looked for buys here, and I may or may not have been successful based on what I was trying to do, because this is a 5 minute, so there's really not going to be that many pips out there. This is very scalp orientated as a trading pattern. Here USD pops up, and again, without going into too much detail, what I'm generally trying to do is I generally don't trade the breakout. I'll look for retraces. So again, without getting into too much here, I'm really looking for a pullback here, and I'm going to start hunting around this area as I start to see these red bars. So again, without going into too much detail, the signal comes here, we pull back into this area. I would have been observing price behavior probably down onto the 1 minutes. I'd be in, seeing where I can get in, and I'm just under the I'm just around the 350, 135. Now again, we all know and understand standard price action. That's a tricky area to trade. I'm right on the 135 here, still am. So again, you've got to be thinking what's going on. 135 is a massive round number, but you can see that sterling, dollar is strong. It's above the zero. cable, or sorry, sterling is weak there. So US dollar strong, sterling is weak. I'm quite happy to be looking to make some looking for sells here, but how and when I do it is another exercise. And at this moment, I'm not on these at the moment. I was here earlier, made a couple of pips up here. I didn't come in here. I'm probably going to wait for this to pop up a little bit more. I want to see this comfortably not pull back that much above the 135s. But again, if your traders are a bit more experienced, you'll know that's a fairly standard that's a fairly standard price action. The point is again, guys, what I'm trying to say is I am comfortable to be looking at this as a pair to trade. I would not have been comfortable here. I would not have been comfortable here. Why? Because they're on the same side. I only trade currencies that are on opposite sides generally based on what moving average I'm using. Okay, this is just the tip of the iceberg. I wanted to show you how to load just the core indicator up. Let's reset this back, because bear in mind, if we're looking at these two guys, so we know that cable is a sell at the moment, yeah. But let's go back here. Let's go back to reset. Say okay, and you can see that there's a lot of things going on at the moment. This is the beauty of this indicator. It's about watching the whole market. Okay, so whilst there are opportunities to sell cable, because as you can see, sterling actually is the weakest of all the currencies at the moment, and the US dollar is really pushing to be the strongest. I mean, you can also see here that there are loads of opportunities. You know, not only is sterling weak and therefore potentially a sell, but look, there's 4 currencies here really that I could be selling that against. I do not know which one to trade against, and there are things we can do. Again, I'll go into that in future modules, how we choose these, what combinations we choose. But as you can see here, we have a good healthy situation this morning. We've got 4 currencies we could be selling, we've got 4 currencies we could be buying. How they pan out, no one knows. Only the market knows that. But I can tell you, strength meters certainly give you an indication into what you should be doing. Because to me, unless there were extenuating circumstances, why would I want to be trading these guys? They're all selling. Why would I want to trade them again? Why would I want to trade euro sterling at the moment? Yeah, trade them somewhere here where the euro and sterling were on different sides of the zero. So I know, so for example here, I can see here, you see here, there's the blue euro above the zero, there's the red sterling below the zero. I mean, I haven't got this on the chart, but this is where I would be looking to possibly trade buying euro sterling. Yep, euro GBP. Why? Because euro is above the zero, sterling is below the zero. That might have been a trade for me. Again, quite happy to trade that those guys against one another in early London, which is what this is today. This is 18th of May, no more than about 9:30 in the morning. Okay, big trade there, by the way. There was a lot of pips there. See how far sterling came back out and then went back. So that was a great trade. But I wouldn't have been trading this pair cable. Why? Because the green is down here. It's on the same side as sterling. And at this moment, right now, whilst I am happy to look for some kind of position here, I just want cable to pull back a bit. Okay, I just want sterling here to just come back a bit here. I want the dollar to just drop a bit, and then I'm happy to trade the divergence. That's what I'm looking for. Just touch the 35s and then drop down. Okay, then I'll try and swing trade it, just swing it back round well under the, I'm under the 20 moving average. We know that because sterling is below dollar, but just looking for that at the moment. But what is really a good trade at this moment? What is a good trade at this moment is anything that's associated with the grey Swissy. Swissy is grey. See the Swissy there? Look how the Swissy is driving up as a nice. It's the strongest bull at the moment on the 5-minute time frame on the 20 moving average. Okay, and can you see? It's been like that for about an hour now, over an hour. So the Swissy's been a strong buy. So you could have been watching Swissy against sterling here and trying to move this trade as this came down. You see how it's pulled back. I haven't got the chart up, but there's another option. There are 28 pairs in here. These 8 currencies can combine for 28 different pair charts, like the cable. You've got to try and identify the ones to trade and be there at the right place, right time. That's how I use my strength meter, my FX correlator, and all the derivatives I've developed over the many years of trading this. I've been trading this since the early 2000s, nearly 20 years now. Okay guys, this is Neil Price signing off. I hope you have a great trading day. I'm going to make sure I do, and we will catch up sometime. Hopefully we'll talk sometime. Okay guys, have a good one. Bye.